Hey, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's been a while since we've had a chance to really hang out. So I hope that your holidays have been blessed beyond words and just everything you'd hope for. I understand, obviously this is a new look since the last time I saw you. I'm getting ready to do my Vincent show at my studio in San Francisco in February. So hence the scruffy, shaggy look. Well, how was your 2019? Right? For some people, it was like, oh my, I heard this a lot. I want to be done. I want to be done with 2019. And maybe that's the year you had. Maybe it was a struggle. Maybe it was really, really hard. And for others, it was blessed, let's say, right? Or everything in between. Regardless, the new year, I think most people agree as well, though, that reset really does feel nice. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of anticipation. And just, again, like a bookend, a desire to be done with that and start something new. And then, of course, we're starting a new decade. Oh, my God, right? The roaring 20s. Here we are. We finally get to live the famous decade of the 20th century now in the 21st. We get to be part of that. So here we are. It's significant on a lot of levels. The start of a new year, the start of a new decade. For me, last year was definitely a trying year, no doubt about it. But look, compared to what most people's problems are, mine were nothing. Just more honestly, just emotional, mental ones versus real, true hardships. So I feel blessed. I do. And yet, as I enter this new year and this new decade, and as I'm getting older in my life, and time is definitely getting more precious. And again, I don't say that in a sad or clinging way. It's just I'm 62 years old somehow. And I heard a dear friend of mine once said, she said, when I turned 60, I felt 50. When I turned 70, I felt 80. So it definitely starts to march forward. And with that, when I say time's more precious, I just mean, for me anyway, it just means that, I don't want to waste time. I don't want to be in situations, relationships, conversations, in any situation where it just feels like either a waste or a drain. And then, of course, creatively, I only want to be a part of projects that truly inspire me. So as I think about this next year, I have lots of things that I'm wanting to do and excited about, and a lot of things I want to address and change in me. And so, if you didn't watch or see last week's newsletter, I tried to set the stage for this new paradigm of creating a better way for resolutions, if you will, because it's not really resolutions. Here, let me explain. Most people, again, set resolutions. I'm going to do this. This is why the classic is what? A gym. Gym memberships just go through the roof January 1st. People stop drinking. They want to lose weight. It's a big reset, right? And over 88% of the people who set New Year's their resolutions fail. And gym owners know this. If everybody showed up who had a gym membership at their gym, they'd have a fight on their hands. There wouldn't be enough equipment for you get the point. There's just no way. They know full well that there's going to be a spike and then it's going to level off because people are going to fall back to their path of least resistance because most people don't change. They don't change. They're not able to sustain it, right? And, we can talk at length about that because I'm dedicated to changing, to evolving me. I'm dedicated to that, and I know that it's not easy. And so I don't want to go down that rabbit hole and get lost in the weeds. I want to stay focused on this new paradigm because this new paradigm does help me change. It does help me incorporate the changes I want to make without it being this goal of I'm going to get this kind of shape or do these kind of things. Because believe me, I want to get my flabby ass in shape this year. I do. And my words will help me. Let me get to the point of this. I didn't come up with this. And with the advent, not the advent, but with the proliferation of social media and things, it's been shared all over the world now because it started by a guy named Chris Brogan, who's been a business coach of mine for many years and a great guy, great mentor. And he created something called My Three Words. And the whole point and instead of New Year's resolutions to replace them. And the point of it is what? The point is that instead of having these resolutions, I'm going to do this, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Instead, I'm going to come up with 3 words that are going to be my beacons for the year, my compass. I teach a lot when our students, we take them on retreat to Hawaii. One of the teachings I talk a lot about is on that plane ride to Hawaii, that plane goes off course constantly. It's constantly as it flies on autopilot. But it has alarms in place. As soon as it drifts a little too far, it alarms and it recalibrates and gets back on course. It gets back on course. And so that's what these 3 words are. They're a way of recalibrating. They're a way of having a compass, a theme, if you will, throughout the year. Give you an example here. One of my former students and beautiful alumnus and wonderful person, Natalie, came up with this. She actually, these are my 3 words, but she wrote that or created that for me as a gift. Those are my 3 words. I started doing this several years ago, but this was from 2 years ago. So what? Service, surrender, service, spectacular. Those were my 3 words from 2 years ago. Surrender. I won't break down why I needed all those, but I did need them. Trust me. They were the right words for the right time for that next chapter in my life. And I still use them throughout the year. Like this last year. And I will continue to. My God. Surrender is one of my main themes in my life these days. And it's going to pop up again this year, but with a different word. This last year, my 3 words were love, compassion, forgiveness. Natalie did not do that for me last year. I did that. It's my horrible scrawl. But love, compassion, forgiveness. I had as the year started last year, I knew full well what I wanted to try to accomplish. And so those 3 words were selected with great intention as I tried to navigate some things in some relationships. And so there it is. They were really at the forefront of the type of person I wanted to be and how I wanted to interact. Not just in all relationships. So love, compassion, forgiveness, and especially for myself. Yeah. So, this year, my 3 words. And again, I'll say mine. My 3 words. Breathe, different, trust. Breathe, different, trust. Breathe, different, trust. I don't breathe well. I get chest pains. I get a tightness in my chest when I work a lot. I'm over at the computer, let's say writing or working or creating stuff. I can sit there for hours and all of a sudden, it's like, have I even taken a breath? It doesn't feel like it because there's a tightness. There's a tightness that starts. And you know what I do? I try to power through it. I just try to keep going instead of taking a step back and a break and truly breathing, really breathing. You think about it. What is more sacred? Here's a quick story. There was a gentleman in my town who was passing away, an older gentleman, and I met his wife and we were talking and she said when he first got diagnosed with his illness, we counted life in terms of months and then in terms of weeks and then days and then hours and then minutes and then breaths. She said it just like that. And it thunderstruck me because, how precious. What's the last thing you're ever going to do? It's take a breath. That's it. And you don't know when that's coming. Right? And it's what sustains us, of course. My God, the holy breath, the sacred breath, right? And I'm a bad breather. I'm also a really bad eater. I eat too fast. It's a dynamic. I've just been going, rushing, and that'll come up in just a second too. Some things that I want to focus on. But that breath is an example of it. So for me, my goal, if I'm going to have a goal, if you will, is to I've already incorporated on a daily basis since the first of the year, a new routine every morning for a series of breath exercises, etc. But it's more than that. It's throughout the day. The second I'm feeling that tightness, my goal throughout this year is to stop, take a break, and do this breathing cycle that I definitely need to do so that I can be more present and more relaxed and more in my body, more calm. and more of the better version of me. I'm also, my goal, if I'm going to have a goal about mine, is to, it's pretty ambitious, but here it is that I'm hesitant to say it because I know how hard this is going to be, but is about, oh my God, see, I can't even get it out. Once a minute. I'd like to check in consistently throughout the day. Once a minute's a little overstated, and so I started thinking, okay, what could be triggers? What could be triggers for these things? And I thought, okay, every time I sit down or stand up, either one of those two things in any capacity, I'm going to stop and take go through this breathing cycle, these breathing routines. I'm going to set up opportunities to remind myself to recalibrate, to embrace my word of breath. And yeah, so I also I'm going to give you updates on this because I'm going to try an exercise. I'm going to do like a weekly, for lack of a better phrase, a scorecard on how I'm doing with these. And I'm going to update these with you, how I'm doing with breath, different, and trust, how I'm doing it with incorporating these things. And that's not in some neurotic perfectionist way. That's not in beating myself up in some way. That's in just, I want to be able to consistently embrace these words. And when I fall short, no problem, but learn from it, recalibrate, and keep getting back to the grounded focus that I want to be with these words. So I'm going to be checking in literally daily and hourly with how I'm doing with these. And I'll report to you how the week has gone. And I look forward to having you do the same. My next word is different. Man, I have gotten into a lot of routines. Some certainly serve me. Working out consistently, prayers, morning meditation. I have a morning routine I've been doing for years. I have a morning routine I've been doing for years that saved my soul at a really dark chapter of my life, really struggled time. I was really going through a bad chapter, breakup and finances, just a bunch of stresses and fears. And I created something that I've been doing now for over 15 years. On a daily basis. And I mean like really, really consistently, like over 90, I always say 98% of the time I have been doing this routine on a daily basis. And so it's served me well. But it's also, you get on this autopilot, at least I do. And I really want to, my theme for this year, my word for this year is different. There's so many things that I don't do. I'm not a big dancer. I don't dance, right? I just don't. I'm going to start dancing. I'm going to start going places. I'm going to start doing stuff. I don't, there's so many things that I go on a certain drive on my day off. It's just the same thing. I enjoy it. It's a beautiful drive. And where I end up is a beautiful thing. It's all these, but I'm going to blow these things up. I'm going to go on different drives. I'm going to go do different. I'm going to challenge myself to do things differently, to do even the things that benefit me. I'm going to do differently, from workouts, physical, emotional, mental ones too. I'm going to do things differently. I'm literally, if I get out of bed on the left, I'm going right. If I do this, remember the Seinfeld episode with George where he was just going to do the opposites, right? If his life's so shitty doing everything he's been doing, why not do the opposite and see what happens? By the end of the thing, he's been hired to be the GM or whatever, the Yankees, and he's dating babes and all that stuff, right? Remember that? Well, if you're into Seinfeld, well, there's a little bit of that craziness to my thinking too. I'm going to challenge myself to do as much as I can new, fresh. Get out of that groove. I need to get out of this routine. I need to expand. I need to find new things, new adventures, new things. So that's why the word different. And finally, my last word is trust. My bane in life is patience. A healthy version of it is I'm a dreamer. I've got a lot inside of me. I'm focused. I move things forward. A driver, yeah. Okay, but it's also I can get out of balance a lot and get impatient. And from standing in line, my mind starts going off about whether it's in line at a bank or, what holy hell is that? To sit there and just be impatient that the line's not moving the way I want, or traffic or whatever, And believe me, I'm aware of it, but I want to take it to a whole new level of quit trying to control life. It's a popular phrase to love what is, right? Byron Katie, I've got that book somewhere. I don't know if you guys are checking out my book list here. Loving what is. Byron Katie wrote a beautiful book. And then there's lots of my teachers have been talking about this theme as well, about being able to just accept what is happening in front of us and instead of trying to, control it. And so when I say trust, for me, that word is I'm going to do a much better job this year on a daily basis of being able to surrender to what's unfolding in front of me and to enjoy it more. To whatever that is, whatever is happening is for my benefit. Whatever is unfolding is for my benefit. To, as corny as this is going to sound, to truly love what is, whatever that is. None of this matters. What matters is how I choose to react, is an old Buddhist teaching, and I believe that completely. And so I want to show up in a much more trusting, graceful, patient way with every single moment of my life. So those are my 3 words. Breath, different, trust. So what are your 3? I want to hear from you. I'm going to share the link in the for the Artistic Family Facebook page. If you feel inclined to post your 3 words, do that. Post them, share them. We used to have this community moving more and sharing more when we first started these newsletters 5 years ago. And then I reached a point where I thought, well, maybe it's better. Maybe people would rather just reach back privately to me. So I encourage that as well. So the pendulum swung that way. And now I'd like to just open up both avenues again. So I'll try to include this link so that there can be more communal sharing with the newsletters or topics or things like that. If you guys, because I'm positive it will help. So I'll leave you that link. I also want to encourage you to be kind to yourselves as you go throughout the year with these words when you fall short. It's not a competition and it's not about perfection. To truly find joy in this process, compassion and softness as you proceed with these. Post them, write them down. It's important that you write them down. I'll have them on my desk. I have them over here. I have a place where I do my morning meditations. They'll be there. They'll be in my car. It'll be on my desk. At my studio, both in the office and where I teach. These words are going to be a constant theme in my life, and I want them at the forefront. So I encourage you to post them everywhere. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Yeah, I think that's about it. And this is already a long video, so my apologies. I hope you stuck around to the end of this. Once again, I want to encourage you to write these down when you come up with them. Whenever that is, post them on the Facebook page if you would like to, or just share them with me. I've already had people since last week reach back in with theirs, so I encourage you to do that too, okay? All right. Well, here's to a blessed, blessed 2020. May your dreams be closer a year from now than further away, and may you be a happier version of you than ever before. That's my hope and wish for you, okay? I hope this helps. All right.